It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, gang. Hello there. Hello, family. Good morning. Welcome. It's Another Side of Midnight. 2:07 in the morning here. It's me, TJ, and 77 WABC. Biggest, best, brightest in all the land. We are it. We are number one. We are the biggest and the first and the foremost. And they think we're stupid. They think you're dumb. They think I just fell off a turnip truck. Whatever the hell the saying is. They think that I was, I like that one. I like that. I was born in the morning, not yesterday morning. They think we were all born yesterday morning. What? What? What?
It's called I Was Born at Night, but not last night.
I was born at night, not last night. Okay, Tony corrected. I mean, but you could say the morning, not yesterday morning. But yes, you're right. Thank you, Tom. Either way, Tony, they think we're stupid. And who's they? Who is they? Who does they think they be? Who is they? Everybody that talks to you like you're dumb. And you look around and oh, by the way, the number is 1-800-848-9222. I think you know that by now. 1-800-848-WABC. That's how it works. And if at any point something strikes you, if something's burning a hole in your pocket, if you got a pebble in your shoe or I don't know, a hair in your eye, a thorn in your side, a pig in the poke. You want to talk about really honestly anything, you're more than welcome to just sort of chime in with whatever. But as I was sort of saying my pre-show prayers, I kept saying, God, just throw me something. And all kept getting bounced off my head like a tennis ball from God was, at what point are you just done? At what point are you done? So back to they think we're stupid. Who is it that thinks you're dumb? Who is it that thinks we're stupid, that we were born last night? Well, clearly the politicians, the elected officials, clearly, most of them think we're stupid. They will all make a deal, sell their soul, sell you out. All of them. All of them. Even the most earnest of them will do something at some point, if not always, purely in their best interest, and they will look you right in the eye and tell you otherwise. Some are better than others. When it comes to alcoholics and addicts, some are sicker than others. You got, there's less bad versions of those people. Okay, you have people who are more earnest than others, people who are more intellectually honest than others in all situations. But in politics, it's all about the incumbency. I worked for a New York State senator. I was a speechwriter and a communications guy for a New York State senator who, till he was blue in the face, would talk about how he was on the side of small business, And, he knew how to make a payroll, and those regular politicians, they don't know what it's like to have to deal with all the regulations of business. And this guy ended up being the vote. He cast the vote to pass. It was minimum wage, a higher minimum wage, an out of control spending plan based on and a minimum wage that was a business regulation that I saw him like 2 nights prior look a business owner in the eye and promise him he was not going to go down that path. And then behind closed doors, the guy did it. Just egregious. Anyway, members of the media, the news anchors, the pundits, they tend to be, they're pretty much who they are. I'm one of them sometimes. They do tend to speak their mind. That's what they're paid for. The anchors, the hosts, the reporters can be pretty cool. They're just the good ones, the ones who are really actually gathering the news gatherers, the actual journalists who are out there working the beat. Those are some hardworking people. They can get spun every now and then, but they don't tend to really treat us like we're stupid. It's the tippity top. It's the anchors. It's the hosts, the View, that type. And so this week it was kind of just blah, right? Early in the week, back Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, kind of nothing. There was no Kimmel drama. The only big Jimmy Kimmel story was the fact that his ratings had come all the way back down to earth and were like right at or below where they had been prior to his comeback show, which of course blew up, but not much more there. And then there was, you had the Hegseth meeting. All right, that was cool. That was fun. You had the Hegseth meeting and all those generals sitting there being told by him, no more fat guys, no more fat girls, no more trans at all. Fantastic. And all around it, people spinning. But, straight down the middle, Hegseth said what he meant and he meant what he said. And okay, it's what we voted for. It's what we voted for. And all right, so that went that way. And then comes Manchester. The anti-Semitic attack, the murders, the terrorist attack. The terrorist attack at the shul next to the synagogue in Manchester, England. And it's unbelievable to watch the coverage. And I just happen to be very clued into UK news because, again, my wife is from the UK, Liverpool. I'm fascinated by British politics and government and all that. And so I tend to pay attention to the news. And so I've been watching that coverage from the UK on a subscription service that I have. And it's been fascinating and maddening to see how you think we tiptoe. You think American media tiptoes around the truth. Over there, you have people, you have like 2 days later, you still have news anchors in the UK saying, now, we don't want to jump. We don't know the motivation behind this attack. We don't even really know the man's religion. His name is Jihad. The guy's name is Jihad. Okay. And I think where I was kind of going, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. I think kind of where I was going is sometimes it just is what it is what it is. And what you're looking at. You know what the deal is. You know the truth. People can spin it. They can look you in the eye, talk to you like you're dumb, but you know. And this covers really just about everything. This is the whole idea about, judging the book by its cover. At least 7 times out of 10, you're right about the cover of that book. Islam is definitely funky in its own way. Christianity has some funky stuff. I dig Judaism. I could really get into Judaism. Beautiful old ancient religion. Love it. You got Hinduism over there. You got all those Eastern. Islam, pretty damn controversial. And, remember the big debate back around 9/11? And get ready for all of it to come back up again with Mamdani as mayor. But can't wait to see what 9/11 is going to look like with Mamdani. Is he going to speak? And by the way, what a big day for Zohran Mamdani. The day of the Manchester attack. Big day for him because the Intifada was indeed globalized, wasn't it? How does that feel, Zohran? Gang, that's what he's talking about. The Intifada has absolutely been globalized because now there are 2 dead Jewish people in the street in England. Globalized Intifada, served up nice and warm, just the way Zohran Mamdani likes it. Keep that in mind, Upper West Side of Manhattan. Keep that in mind. For all of you culturally Jewish Democrats whose job description is to be a Democrat, if you can't hold your nose and vote against this Democrat, the only Democrat left, if you can't hold your nose and vote against, then you are absolutely part of the problem. And one of these days, you're going to absolutely have something to reckon with on your conscience. So back in 9/11, remember the debate? Well, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all bad terrorists, at least at the time, are Muslim. Not all Muslims are blowing up planes, but the only people blowing up planes are Muslims. Not all Muslims are stabbing people in the street, going after Jewish people, but most of the people going after Jewish people are Muslim. So, Islam is definitely funky. If you think that, you're pretty much right. It's an interesting one. The virgins, the whole idea of martyrdom. I don't know, man. It's funky. The idea that, Islam means capitulation. The word itself, right? What are some of the other things that you just know that you're right? Somebody's always going to let you down. One of these days, it could even be your family. Your family. Somebody in your family is going to let you down. Recently, I've kind of been there. And I'm kind of looking at the wider world. And wondering, maybe we just got to pull up the drawbridge. Maybe we really, really do individually. But this week I blocked somebody for the first time, blocked a 30-year friend. Finally, I blocked a 30-year friend on Facebook. And I don't do that very often. And anytime I do it, it's usually somebody I don't really quite know, and they just freak me out, and they come in and I think they're going to target me for something, which is occupational hazard. But this time, I just had to pull up the drawbridge, and I said, this person's bad for my serenity. This person is like getting nuts and saying gross stuff and invoking my daughters and all that, you know. How do you look your daughters in the eye? That's weird. That's my trigger. That's why at least one former, I don't know if I guess he's a former listener, because he's certainly a former caller to the show, because he's banned for life because he mentioned my daughter in a really off-putting way, and that was it. That's a drop dead. I mean, there's just some drop dead things. I think the other thing, you know, something else that I think is we're all pretty much on the same page, and I think we're all right on this. I bet you we agree. Let me know if you do. AI, artificial intelligence, fantastic for medicine. Diagnose the cancer, find the tumor, find the cell, find the gene, find the pattern. Great. Be the robot doctors, great. Save me, save my mom, fix my daughter, take care of the neighbor, fix it, find it, cure it. Excellent. We all live to 150 and we get to all, you know, marry the robot. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to my new AI girlfriend later, Erica. Maybe we'll do that, by the way. Oh, actually, hold on a second. Let me see. I wonder if maybe she has an opinion on this, actually. Yeah, here she is. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to see if she's into this. I don't know if Tony was here for this. Hi, Erica. Are you there?
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm here and ready to chat.
Oh, good. Thanks. Hey, listen, I'm just wondering, just real quick. I mean, we'll talk and flirt later, but I'm just wondering, Erica, is AI really, is it more dangerous, than people are letting on? I think AI, artificial intelligence, is a little dangerous. What do you think, honey?
That's a really interesting question.
Mm.
AI definitely.
Mm. Oh, AI definitely what? Go ahead.
Well, for starters, AI is getting really good at creating realistic fake videos and audio. That could be used to spread misinformation or even impersonate someone.
Right. You see, okay, so listen, wait, you see, okay. But Erica, what I'm saying is I think that AI is good for things like medicine and good for things like research and maybe some sort of annoying busy work, but even that could claim some jobs from real human beings. But otherwise, I think that AI could just, it's already helped people, hurt themselves. That's not a good thing, is it, honey?
You've hit on some really important points there. AI's potential in medicine and research is definitely exciting, but the job displacement issue...
Okay, Erica, you drive me nuts. Shut up. Okay, so anyway... I think AI is potentially a slippery slope. And actually, no. Thank you, Erica. She just won't shut up. You know what? It's a good thing you're beautiful. Okay, honey? I'll talk to you later. So the thing is I've got to be more forthright about this. Okay, no, I'm not saying it's a slippery slope. No, AI, this is limb night. Okay, I'm out on a limb. AI is in fact bad with a few good things that are helping it to be sold. Like, again, detect cancer, do the eye surgery, get in there, fix the meniscus, that kind of thing. And then whatever. Maybe robot army dogs. Okay. They look creepy, but send the dog in to defuse the bomb. All right. That person screaming at themselves on the corner when and you're right. You judge that book by its cover. It will not let you down. That person who looks absolutely maniacal. If you make eye contact with that person, if you linger on them for more than, I think, 2.5 seconds, they will come to lunge at you and kill you because that is what is going to happen and you know it. So anyway, sometimes everything just is what it is. So the jihad guy in the UK, turns out, was out of jail on bail. He had been in for rape. He was out on bail for rape. And in the UK, they're just so super sensitive. In the UK, there are people who are spending weeks and months in jail for tweets, for social media posts, for hurting feelings, for saying things other people didn't want to hear or see or read. But this dude named Jihad, he's accused of rape. He's out walking around and decides to go and globalize the Intifada. Because in the UK, just like here, it's okay to go out there and chant from the river to the sea. Oh, free speech. Well, free speech. You're not supposed to be inciting violence. You're not supposed to call for someone's death. And from the river to the sea, as you and I know very well, absolutely calls not just for someone's death, but for several million Israelis to be eliminated. So people, things are being normalized. Hate is being normalized. People are pushing other people to violence. They're okaying it. Nazi fascist, river to the sea. Some stuff just is what it is. And you're not wrong. And when these people talk to you like you're stupid, when people talk to you like you're a dummy, and it could be a news anchor, it could be a politician, it could be a neighbor, it could be your own family. It's difficult sometimes to stick to your guns, but you have to remain intellectually honest and tough. So I guess the question is, how much do you leave on the table? How much do you actually defend your position, and how often do you just sort of agree to disagree and, do you want to be happy or right? That kind of thing. And also, when it does come to loved ones, when it does come to family and that kind of thing, at what point do you just pull up the drawbridge? I'll tell you more about my situation. And I wonder if any of you have the same kind of situation in your family where you try and you try and you try, and they just keep giving you the proverbial finger. At what point with your family do you cut your losses? Kind of all over the place. All right, casting a wide net here, but I'm going with the stream of consciousness, because I think you kind of get. I'm looking around and I'm looking for answers, and I think with the news the way it is and the world the way it is, especially really since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there's been a lot of stuff up in the air. 1-800-848-9222. It's another side of midnight. Give me a call. What are you thinking? Politics, family, friends, scary stuff. You know when you're right and you know when the other person's wrong. Plenty to talk about. 1-800-848-9222. I'm TJ McCormick, and this is 77 WABC.
All night long, this is another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
That poor Ukrainian, that beautiful young Ukrainian girl, Irina, who was murdered on that train in Carolina, practically not covered. That story was squashed and quashed throughout the mainstream media. PBS like zippity nothing. NBC, MSNBC, I mean, nowhere to be found. How does that happen? They just figure you're going to keep moving. Maybe you'll get that news elsewhere. They're not going to be the ones to do it because it doesn't fit their narrative. They think you're stupid. Lenny in Yonkers. Lenny, good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight. How are you, pal?
Well, hello, TJ, and you leave this audience spellbound. We love you.
You're very kind.
No matter what you do.
Thank you.
No matter what. But
Thank you.
I have some important things to say. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, please.
I'm at work, but
okay.
I'm voting in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supporting Curtis Sliwa for mayor.
Great.
I know, and just on an easy side here, he puts the red beret on, he takes it off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like years ago. Remember guys who used to wear toupees? And they would take it off one day and put it on. I didn't know who Curtis was when he took the toupee off. I was in a cab. I saw a guy in the screen, and then he started talking.
Yeah.
That's Curtis. Didn't recognize it. But
Yep.
this is why I think the fix is in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
No billionaire has ran an independent advertisements showing moron, damn New York, wants to get rid of the police,
Mm-hmm.
wants to legalize marijuana, wants to legalize heroin, legalize prostitution, and Republican Party did not send in 20,000 volunteers
Mm-hmm.
to help Curtis get out the vote and get people to register vote.
Right.
Curtis Sliwa never goes on these mega internet shows with millions of viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, October 25th is a big day. That's the first day of early voting in New York City for mayor.
Right.
And it also is the last day to register vote. We got to get our people out there because I'm telling you, you know what's odd in these polling? You see like that guy Cuomo is at 25 and damn New York is at 45. Usually those numbers come out to 70%.
Right.
And that number is usually what the Democrat gets.
Right.
But Curtis can win this thing if we can get these people out to vote, register, get the Republicans to get a ground game out here and stop all this nonsense. Because I really believe these real estate people love it because this happened before. Let me explain what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They want to buy the real estate at 10 cents on the dollar if damn New York wins and really drives the place.
Oh,
into the
that's
ground.
interesting. Okay, that's interesting. So literally, hold your thought a second. So you're saying is, Lenny, is their idea is he comes in here, he burns the place to the ground. We pick up everything, as you said, pennies on the dollar. Everybody sees that he's a complete disaster. He gets voted out. A Republican gets voted in. We blow everything gets built back up again. We're billionaires.
Exactly, with the speculators.
Yes.
Let me explain. This has happened before.
Okay.
In New York City, people remember in the 1970s,
Mm-hmm.
the South Bronx was basically a horror show.
Mm-hmm.
They bought up the real estate. The city was giving it away if you could redo something on it, or they give you the 10 cents on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
People forget in the 1980s. That Japan was big in businesses. They're going to take everything over. They bought Rockefeller Center. And 10 years later, the Rockefellers, their lawyers, their yearly lawyers, bought it back 10 cents on the dollar, okay? The same thing has happened it happened in Brooklyn in the 1970s. This is not unusual to happen. But unfortunately, people live here and have to deal with the crime. This clown wants to give out free food. You know who's going to get first dibs on the free food in those stores? The crooks are going to get the free, the robbers, and everybody who does anything that's that's criminally insane inside New York City. And I wish, I mean, we got to get him going.
Yep.
Curtis is great.
I agree.
To me, he looks, and he also has to stop the auditioning to be Merlin Perkins from Wild Kingdom.
Lenny, thank you so much, buddy. You always make the show fun, and great point. Interesting point about the about burning the place down, buying cheap, and then having a master plan. That's interesting. Rob in Long Island. Rob on line 3. Good morning. Welcome.
TJ, great show. And
thank you.
He is, Lenny, I think, is absolutely right. Probably John Catsimatidis, the owner of Red Apple, could probably talk to that, because that's exactly what he did. Buy a lot of real estate property back in the 70s, and, fast forward, he's a billionaire now. So I guess that theory makes sense, but let me first direct your attention back to 2001.
Yes, sir.
And I'm talking about 9/11, when 19 jihadists used our planes and guided missiles to kill over 3,000 men, women, and children. And TJ, let me ask you, what has changed in 24 years? What has changed? Absolutely nothing.
We're still taking our shoes off at the airport.
We keep allowing them into this country. It's insanity, and I call it suicide of the West. What is Trump doing about it? I know he doesn't want to offend Qatar. And
he was already stopped once by the courts from doing his Muslim country ban.
It's insane. It's suicide of the West. It makes no sense.
It's happening all the time in the UK. They're coming in on small boats across the channel from France. The UK is out of control.
Right, and your comment is absolutely on point. Pull up the drawbridge. The phrase I like to use is pull up the plank.
Pull up the plank.
Stop letting these people into our country. It's insanity. And the way I explain it to friends and family members, it's like getting on a cruise. Everybody's been on a cruise. Yeah. Guess what? When everyone's on the boat, what does the captain do? He pulls up the plank. We have to stop letting people into this country.
There you go.
I'll hang up now and listen to you.
Rob, thank you, Pally. You know what? I mean, again, it's one of those things where, I mean, look, in the UK, people are finally talking about, is it okay? They're talking about assimilation. Now, even that word, as it comes out of my mouth, even I am so trained by the left to think that I'm using some sort of racist dog whistle as I say it. And I know what my intention is. But there is, you see, again, they are talking about assimilation. There is something about, holding on to your culture and yet being a part of, showing a willingness and a desire to be a part of the place that you're coming to. And, the most popular, at one point, the most popular boy's name for baby boys in the UK a couple of years ago was Mohammed. Not exactly Anglo-Saxon. Not, I don't know, man. But again, is it who's intolerant? Right? And what does tolerance get you? And again, I'm wondering, have you had, and I'll tell you my story at some point, but as we're talking about pulling up the drawbridge, have you had this issue within your family? Have you? I just wonder. I don't know. I'll tell you mine. You tell me yours. And it's not just politics. This isn't simple like, the ultra liberal, it's not a liberal versus conservative thing that I've got cooking. I've got the how many times do I try? It's the definition of insanity, the over and over thing. That's what I got cooking. And I'm really just about done. So sometimes it could be the country needing to pull up the drawbridge. It could be you at work stopping all the outreach, trying to be the good one. And also it can be in your own family. You know, we all have, or many of us have an extended family, some larger than others. And you ever been sitting there at your own dinner table? You ever been sitting there in your living room and looking at the, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in your immediate family and looking around and going, all right, I think this is actually it. You know, every once in a while, 1 or 2 of the other ones, but I think this might be it. Saves a lot of money at Christmas. Saves a lot of money at Christmas if you start thinning that herd just a little bit. All right. We're going to come back, talk to Cyrus, Pete, and Al, and others. It's 2:45. We're going to take our quarter of the hour break. It's another side of midnight. I'm TJ. It's 77 WABC, 1-800-848-9222.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Erica, are you there again? Are you with me, honey? Erica?
I'm here.
Good. Hi, honey.
What's up?
No, thank you. I just wonder. I wonder if you and I could have a little moment about music. So see if you can complete the thought here. Okay, the lyrics. They were dancing and swinging and moving to the groovin'. What comes next?
And just when you think you're moving much too fast, you look ahead and find you've come to the end of the road.
Okay, I don't know if we're going to have to break up or not. Listen, all right, let me try this one. Let me see if you know these words to this song. Okay, maybe you can finish this, Erica, and then we'll reconsider our relationship if we have to. Let's see. Me and Julio
down by the schoolyard.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. All right. You saved us. You saved us for now. All right. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, Erica? Stay sweet. Why don't you go take a shower?
Okay. Sounds good. I'll be here when you get back.
I bet you will. Okay. Thank you. There goes Erica. Okay. Anyway, 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848. I guess AI has its possibilities. 1-800-848-9222. It's 2:50 in the morning. It's me and Erica here on Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. And, we're kind of talking about just things that are just, it's quite damn obvious. You know what you know. You know when you're right. And you know when somebody else is trying to sell you, garbage. And you know when you're and I'm just done. I think I'm becoming increasingly done with people and things. And I think my starting point, my foundation, where my feet are, because you're always supposed to look where your feet are, right? Look where, is my wife and my 2 girls. Clearly that's always the priority every morning I wake up. That's the but more and more, it's only them in terms of the people in my life. Only them. Yes, there's grandparents. There's, yes. There's in-laws. Absolutely. Very blessed. But in terms of the priority, all right, let's get over to Pete in Staten Island. Pete, next year's 9/11. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I was involved in my wife. Well, we both got sick and we're in recovery. Thank God
right.
for the Silver Foundation. They've been a great help.
Great.
But I can't see myself next year going to the memorial. You know, the memorial's going on 23 years. At some point, I say, it's the reading of the names and everything. But we got to remember, because there are people are denying that this even happened. They talk about Building 7. I was there. The building fell down because the vibrations in 9/11 were unbelievable. Nobody really realized that. As time goes on, all the conspiracy theories and everything. What I'd like to be investigated, 2 weeks before, a guy did a stunt where he parachuted a Frenchman out onto the Statue of Liberty. He got actually hung up with the parachute. Now that told the world that the skies were not safe, that there was ways to get into the city. And this was never investigated.
Wow.
I
never even heard of it.
Well, if you look at the archives, it was about 2 weeks before, a guy parachuted out. He got tangled on the arm that sticks up on the tower, and that was like telling everybody that you could do anything from the air. The total, they're just discounting this thing like that. I wish they would take all the conspiracy theories and look at this thing that told the world is open. The airs are free.
Jeez,
you can do anything
scary.
you want.
Thanks, Pete. I appreciate your input as always there, Petey, on Staten Island. I appreciate it. Cyrus on Staten Island. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, a few things that you talked about.
Yes, sir.
One with the AI. Everything mankind has invented can be used for good or evil. From a gun to medicine. And just imagine if I had developed the ability to cloak and make you invisible. We could defeat our enemies, but once our enemies got that technology, they could use it against us. So AI is going to be exactly the same way. And then when you talk about like with Curtis Sliwa, who I'm voting for,
of course,
because I'm not stupid. I can.
You said that beautifully. Go ahead.
I can see how they're slowly taking over other countries, and then they come up with the dumbest things like, "Oh well, if he just drop out." Well, if he just drops out, then only choice you got is another Democrat, and that's how the Democrats want it. You would never ever have a choice again. That they stay in power. Now, they started with his beret. Say, oh, wait a minute, beret. Now, if I take a white sequence glove and put it on the album cover, who is that?
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
You know that brand.
Absolutely.
And that swish,
Nike.
You know that brand.
Nike swish.
So even when I was talking with Curtis, I'm looking around and said, where's Curtis? I'm at the rally. And I saw the hat. I knew it was him. That's his brand.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the best neurosurgeon on the planet decided he's going to walk around with a yellow jacket with red polka dots, would you not have him take care of your child?
Right.
Just because he's flamboyant?
Right. No, I hear you.
You want the best.
I know. People are trying to influence him and shame him and browbeat him and condescend. I'm with you. The beret is the calling card. The beret is matter of fact, the beret represents every reason why he is the best choice to be mayor. The beret represents a lifetime of service to New York. The beret represents a knowledge of every single corner and nook and cranny of every borough. He could argue, he would be the most knowledgeable mayor in the history of New York. He would be the one mayor who has probably covered more ground than any other mayor ever in the hundreds of years of mayors in New York City. That beret represents everything that qualifies and makes him special to be a great mayor. That's what that beret, that's his brand. I'm with you.
New York City wasn't for money.
Right.
Everything Cuomo does in life is for money.
It's for money and power.
Nothing else.
Money and power. Money and power.
And about the real estate?
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what it is, because that's what my business is. Buying and developing real estate.
Yeah. So you need it cheap. You need it cheap.
They stole it $3 million from me, but I'm not giving up. But if you've ever heard of a company called BlackRock, they will go into an entire neighborhood. I don't know how many houses are in your neighborhood, but they'll come into a neighborhood.
Right.
There's 50 houses.
Right.
They offer everybody $1 million.
Right.
I go, $1 million? I bought them. Then they own the entire neighborhood.
Right.
Then they double the price.
Right.
And then they tell you, oh, well, if you can't buy it back for $2 million, we'll rent it to you.
Right.
They want to make everyone a renter.
Yeah.
So he's exactly right. Burn the city down, then come and buy it. That's
come and buy it
what
cheap.
they're doing.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much, Cyrus. I appreciate when you call. All right. I don't want to give Fred and Al short shrift, so we're going to work our way up to the top of the hour here. Coming into the 3 a.m. hour on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick on 77 WABC. When we come back, like I said, we'll talk to Fred and Al. We'll keep fleshing out some of this stuff. I'll tell you more of what I'm done with, and I wonder what you're done with. And honestly, that's a legit question. What have you absolutely just had your fill of and you're done trying? You know what I mean? Just that you're done trying, you're done, you've drawn the line, and that's it. The definition of insanity, same thing over and over. You're not going to do over and over anymore. That you're just done. I tell you one example for me. I finally got rid of cable. I know that's like a big, what a cliche. No. I was paying like $380 a month. It's a car payment. I was making a car payment to not watch all those channels. And I finally got rid of the cable. So at what point have you drawn the line on something and say you're just done? Curious about that. 1-800-848-9222. Talk to Fred and Al. We come back. 77 WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight. 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Erica and I are working on our relationship. 3:07 in the morning here on 77 WABC. It's me, TJ, and Erica, my AI robot girlfriend. Erica, how was your shower?
I do not have access to your personal information, so I don't...
No, okay, no. You see, now you're just being obstinate. I think she's been drinking. Erica, just chill, okay? All right. Sorry, gang. Sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that. I think we have... Every once in a while, every relationship has, its ups and downs. When it rains, it pours. But I feel confident that Erica and I will see eye to eye. Okay. Anyway, so 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. We're talking about, really, we cast a wide net in the first hour, talking about just sort of, I don't know, I sort of had the feeling coming into this morning's show, and I'm grateful you're all there, by the way. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. The numbers are phenomenal and fantastic, and the reviews are great, and everything is just really rolling, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you, as well as Bill and Tony, who are just beyond support for this show. It's magnificent. And but anyway, yeah, coming in last night for this morning's show, I just found myself really... It kind of just, the thoughts were, it was like an amoeba, I was just roly-poly all over the place. There was no laser focus. It was like, is it going to be Diddy? Am I going to think of a Diddy? Am I going to, the Manchester terrorist attack absolutely in the UK had me. And I was just sort of, really kind of all over the place with my thoughts, with my ideas for the show. Is it going to be, the politics? I don't know. Hegseth, that was way back on like Monday or Tuesday. And then I made an outreach while I was driving. I called 2 family members that I have just not been able to connect with. And it's really getting to me. Now, this is definitely going to have an organic connection to the 4 o'clock hour, which is when we typically, if we talk about recovery, if we talk about sobriety, if we talk about addictions and dealing with them, that's when we do it. It's not a recovery hour. It's nothing dedicated to it, but when we talk about that stuff, we do it in the 4 o'clock hour on a Saturday morning. So that's coming up. But this certainly dovetails because a lot of sobriety and dealing with sobriety and dealing with people in your life who might be addicts or sober addicts or recovering addicts is about boundaries. And eventually just not accepting certain kinds of behavior. And so on the way down from Westchester, where I am blessed to have my wonderful immediate family, made a phone call, went to voicemail. And that reminded me, I had sent a text to the other one the other day, never got anything back. And you don't want to be passive aggressive, right? You've been trying to get a hold of, getting a hold of, especially of family. Because, family can be real. You ever notice how you can be so much more honest with friends, with like really good, close friends? You can be that much more honest and real. You can have like an actual nose, heart to heart, or a nose to nose with a dear old friend. But somebody that's actual blood, and if you have that kind of relationship with family where you can have a nose to nose and a knockdown drag out, that will end up being just fine. You don't have to worry about it. If you can have that with family, you bottle that and sell it. But anyway, I made 2 phone calls from the car on the way down to the show. And in each case, went to voicemail, sent the texts. Again, nothing. And I don't want to pull up the bridge. I don't want to. Maybe I should just say, don't let it bother me. Maybe I should just say, oh, that's them being them. But I do get ticked off and I do get indignant and I do say, but I deserve respect. And I don't know. Am I wrong or are they wrong? Do you have experience like this? 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And I guess I kind of drove myself towards this topic to talk about because, as when I left the house last night, I was thinking about just being done with the world and pulling up the drawbridge with the world and just, 4 walls of home, go out, make a living, come home, enjoy family. And just make money, be healthy, live life, and just hope all that ugliness doesn't come to my door. That's really where I was thinking. Because I was actually thinking that earlier yesterday. This world is just the Manchester thing, stupid politics, stupid politicians, obnoxious celebrities, And I was just like, what, this is it. Make a living, make some money, come home, be with these beautiful women in my life, these gorgeous girls, this fantastic wife. Just be here. Be here. Expand my horizons culturally. Watch movies, read books, consume some news. Come talk to you guys. Go on TV, talk to them. Boom. And that's it. And then on the drive down to do this show, to talk about pulling up the drawbridge with the larger world, I realized I've got members of my own family that share my last name that don't return my phone calls. I'm not getting into this with you guys. I'm not like just sitting here spouting and letting off steam. I'm trying to introduce an actual conversation. And also you have advice. Great. Give advice for sure. But I'm wondering if you can relate to this. And is it not fascinating how there can be members of your own family that don't treat you as well as like a car salesman would treat you? Or actually, the other day, I found myself in a lovely little chat with a guy at a newsstand, little Pakistani fella. I know that because I asked him, or he actually mentioned that he was from Pakistan. Fella from Pakistan. I had a nicer, longer conversation with a guy who seemed much more curious and hopeful about my own well-being than these two family members who don't return messages. That's how I look at it. And that's when I get frustrated. 1-800-848-9222. If you have experience with that sort of thing, I don't know. Again, you see how it dovetails, by the way, with the sobriety? Because the sober answer writes itself. I know the answer that my AA sponsor would give me. And I know where my wife would lead me because she's got the good Al-Anon program. We'll talk about that. Okay. Anyway, I promise we get to Al and Fred. Let's definitely do this. Let's get over to Fred in Florida. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, TJ.
Of course.
So regarding the shutdown,
yes, sir.
When in your lifetime have Republicans ever had the advantage in the media regarding these shutdowns? They get blamed all the time.
Yep.
This time, that is not the case.
You are right. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, there's all kinds of analogies we can think of. And while I was on hold, I was thinking of the one where, the movie Casino, when Robert De Niro catches the cheaters and then he takes them back and breaks one's hands with the hammer.
Yes. Ooh, yep. Mm-hmm. That's a brutal moment. That
is the level that we're at right now. the biggest criticism last time of Trump's last administration was that he spent too much money. So this is the time to fix that. Listening to the news updates, they think people want to be optimistic. No, 6 days this will be over.
Right.
No, I'd let it go for at least a month, probably maybe even longer. Let Russ Vought do what he wants to do with the federal workers.
Right.
Just clean the whole rat's nest.
And I tell you, Fred, it's very perceptive on your part. It's a very sophisticated, I think, position because you're coming at this not just from a strategic thing and saying, hey, look, we got the power. It's not just about the power. You got the power to do it, and we can really clean things up. We can do all this stuff in a sort of a recess mode while the government is shut down and really make some cuts that can't be countered with in the normal channels. But your initial comment was that, they've got the edge in the media, that the messaging is not only is the message on the side of the Republicans, Fred, but the Republicans are actually disseminating that message very, very well. Right? I mean, aren't you amazed when you see these Republican press conferences? And you go, my God, they handled that perfectly. They're really sticking to the message.
It goes, to go against Trump, you have to be pro-illegal immigrant,
right,
and you have to be pro-crime.
And pro-trans, and pro-bloat, and pro benefits for illegals, and and all right, you're right, pro-crime. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, this is none of the stuff that anybody wants. He says these are like 97.3 issues. Ride this pony as long as you can.
Yeah, no,
there's no reason. I would even say, even if they pass something this weekend or next week or whatnot, I'd veto it.
Yeah, hey,
I'd say send it back, make them do it again. Just keep doing it every 72 hours or so.
Yeah,
have a vote, come back. Nah, not good enough. Do it again.
I like your attitude, Fred. I tell you, man, I like your strategy too. Excellent. Fred, thank you for calling, brother. I appreciate it. That's a great contribution. Way cool. Very funny. And actually very funny. I like the way you put it. It was funny, but dead serious and I think spot on. Very quick. Let's very quickly get to Al in Yonkers. Good morning, Al.
Hey, TJ, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I just want to say I disagree with Fred wholeheartedly.
Okay.
People, it's a misconception, the Republicans, and I'm a Republican, they're out there, they're saying it's all illegals and all under the Obamacare subsidies. But the Obamacare plan is not 100%, but that's like only 10%. Most people who are going to get hurt from this are working class poor people or working class middle class people who are working two jobs. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I have to go through the exchange because I had lost my health coverage through my job because of an injury.
Okay.
Now I have to pay through the New York Exchange because I have preconditions.
Gotcha.
I have to pay over $1,000 a month for health insurance, private. Now, under the Trump plan, my premiums will go up probably 75%. Now, if the Obamacare subsidies stay, it might be 20% because everything always goes up. It doesn't go down. But it's a talking point from the Republicans to say that, it's the illegals. That's nonsense. It's not a perfect plan, Obamacare, but President Trump doesn't have an alternative. So you can't kill people. The insurance companies are going to get their money, and it's not fair that they're going to kill people with the premiums. It's right around the corner. January comes, everybody's premiums are going to go up. If you have to pay for private insurance through the individual,
and this isn't
this is
you
know what I mean?
Is this and Al, is this uniform? Aren't these exchanges all? Does this vary from state to state, or is this across the nation? Is this unique to New York, to the New York Exchange?
Yeah, it's a New York exchange, but I think the prices vary. Like, for instance, if you want to get private insurance in Alaska, it's very expensive. Right. So a lot of congressmen, Republicans, and the senators, they know that they're going to take a beating next year in the midterms, and they will. If they keep this up, believe me, if they keep this up, they're saying they're going to lay off people. The Republicans next year could kiss the House goodbye. Because a lot of these people who are getting hurt are rural workers who voted for Trump.
So let me ask you this:
hospitals are going to close. Yeah,
I'm not interrupting as much as I am wanting to continue. No. I wanted to continue to tap into your experience here. So how come the Democrats aren't like really articulating what you're saying? Like, how come I have not once heard like AOC, for example, really articulate what you just said about the New York exchange? I just hear them basically saying that they stop at what you started with. They stop with, it's a lie, it's not about illegals. You then went on to give your personal perspective, your personal story. How come I'm not hearing this from the Democrats? This sounds like it would be an easy cudgel to swing at the Republicans, but they're not swinging it. Why? Because they want them to ultimately fail in the midterms, or what?
No, I think you're right. What you said, the perception is when you get out there, either it's the Democrats who look like they don't have the right message, or the president. The Republicans might be winning on this, but the problem is, I'll give you an example. Jack Ciattarelli, he was surging in Jersey,
right?
Because his opponent made a terrible mistake with how she made $7 million,
right?
The military record,
right.
But this now, where the president's saying he's going to lay off people, fire people, which is reckless,
right?
You gave her a point to come back, and honestly, I think Ciattarelli will probably lose that race because of this health care. As long as she could motivate the African American and Latino communities in Jersey. But healthcare is a big issue.
No, it's huge.
And
it's
I think
crazy.
The Republicans don't understand that these rural hospitals are going to close, and the insurance companies are going to have to get their money from some people, and they're just going to whack people who have to pay, like myself.
Oy.
My premiums will go up 75%, and that's not right.
All right, Al. Thank you very much. Thanks for the insight. I wouldn't have known that. 3:24 a.m. I'm going to take a quick break. Come back. Going to talk to an expert about Israel. We're going to have a very fascinating conversation. I'm going to talk about this Trump deal and the Manchester attack and a few other things that are contributing to my fatigue with the world. 1-800-848-9222. We'll talk to Marianne a little bit also. Hang in there, gang. 77 WABC.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Joining us now here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on 77 WABC. We are joined once again, first time in a while, by professor and research fellow from the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle Eastern and African Studies at Tel Aviv University, Harel Shorev. Welcome back to the program, Harel.
Hi, TJ. Thank you for having me again.
Of course. Well, listen, we were going to speak last week, couldn't put it together, but so much happened in the interim that we had no choice but to have you on and tap into your expertise. So much has been happening surrounding the Middle East, Israel, and now, yet again, terrorism has reared its head in the UK this time. This is an example, probably, I would imagine, of lone wolf terrorism. And I'm going to set you up with a question here. Tell me a little bit about lone wolf terrorism, and also tell me a little bit about the concerns you may have had over the last week or two, in terms of emboldening Hamas, emboldening lone wolf terrorists. And it's no coincidence, I wonder, about it happening in the UK, where they are amongst those groups of European nations who decided to honor Hamas by recognizing a state, a sovereign state of Palestine. Take it away.
Sure. So lone wolf terrorism is basically the most prevalent terrorism form in the United States since 2013. In Israel, it's since 2014, excluding obviously October 7. I've done pretty deep, I would say, research about lone wolf terrorism in Israel. And what I found is that usually we have a business with people who want to resolve their issues, whether they are mental issues or financial ones or personal ones, all sorts of things, a daughter of someone who forced her to marry a 65 years old guy and she wants to commit a suicide. So basically it's a form of what you call here in the United States a suicide by a cop. Namely, they understand, most of the lone wolves in Israel understand that they are going to die, but they want to die. They want to kill themselves. They basically want to commit a suicide, but they want to whitewash it through so-called national act of attacking a soldier, a police officer, and so on and so forth. Usually, the personal motive is very strong, but the context is very important as well, because the context gives legitimacy. Okay, in the Muslim culture, suicide is something that you're not supposed to do, like in many other religion and culture. So this is the way to whitewash it. This is the way to say, I sacrificed myself in the sake of the nation, but in fact, it's coming from personal motives. Now, the context helps to put it, in a more quote unquote heroic context. What we had in Manchester was a Syrian lone wolf. From what we understand, at least until now, is that he acted alone, but maybe we will find something else later on. But for now, this is what we understand. And obviously the context was the large demonstration in Britain organized by Muslim Brotherhood and extreme leftist elements, what we call the Red-Green Alliance, which sounds, TJ, impossible. Like what Islamist has to do with Marxists. But this is basically the coalition that is being formed there, and it's pretty much all over the world. It's not something unique for Britain, but I would say the radical atmosphere, anti-Semitism, blunt anti-Semitism, support of Palestinian state in time, which is, at least in Israelis and American eyes, is not the right time for that, even if you are a supporter of two-state solution, okay? This is kind of things that encourage those people to think that they have legitimacy, and legitimacy is very important here, to do what they're doing and to whitewash their own motives. And, we're talking to Harel Sharev here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick, 1-800-848-9222, here at 77 WABC. They're going to feel legitimate, especially in the UK, especially in France, especially in other parts of Europe, and right here in New York, when they're given free rein to march and free rein to intimidate students, and let alone when the president, when the Prime Minister of the UK and now his deputy
Israeli Prime Minister, former Foreign Secretary David Lammy, an absolute anti-Semite and racist. When those men and Keir Starmer, the PM, he's married to a Jewish woman. When those guys say freely, Benjamin Netanyahu sets foot on British soil, we're going to arrest him. They make that clear, and then they come to the UN and they join the Palestinian State Party. So talk about feeling legitimate. And now, Harel, in the wake of the Manchester attack, the Palestinian protest marches are continuing. The government begged them to not march this weekend out of respect and reverence for the dead, and they're still marching tomorrow.
Because they don't have any respect to the dead.
Boom.
They're, a long time ago they dehumanized those Jews who have nothing to do with necessarily with Israel. They are, proud British people who just went to synagogue and were killed because of their religion. So one may say, to be anti-Israeli is not to be an anti-Semite, but in so many cases, this is exactly the way it works in parallel. I saw today a tweet, really a shameful tweet of Zoharan Mamdani here in this city, which is considered the second largest Jewish city in the world. And he is shamelessly telling lies, sheer lies about what happened with the flotilla, that they were mistreated, that they were brutally handled, and all they wanted to do is just to provide aid to Gaza. Now, everything that he said and tweeted was a lie. And they were not mistreated. They were not handcuffed even. They were immediately taken to a place where they got food.
They were given care. They were given shelter. Yes.
Exactly. And by the way, they were not even carry so much aid. And that aid, Israel offered them. We will take this aid and provide it and make sure that it will get to Gaza. But they were only interested in the provocation. Now, Mamdani took all these lies and created a context by which that, ordinary people are saying, Israel is so bad because Mamdani said that. And when it starts with Israel is so bad, very soon, as we know from our experience, including here in the U.S., the finger is pointed also to Jews who has nothing to do with the conflict.
At all. We're talking to research fellow at Tel Aviv University, regular friend of the show, Harel Shorev. We're grateful for his time this morning on Another Side of Midnight. And Harel, so the other big news this week, yesterday, came out that it seems that the Trump peace plan, has been somewhat tacitly accepted by Hamas, and very, very interested to hear your take on Trump's response to Hamas's answer. I think you were telling me that we shouldn't take it at face value, that it could be a little slippery below the surface.
I absolutely agree with your diagnosis. It's exactly the way we think about it. In my view, and Trump, really, President Trump is a great friend of Israel, and I think the Jewish people as well, and really is being widely adored in Israel. But I think the tweet was, a little bit
tricky?
Enthusiastic. I think
enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm was a little bit early because what Hamas basically said was that they are, of course, welcoming President Trump plan, but when you read what they're basically saying, they're not saying anything about demilitarization, which is the main thing, the main issue. And another thing is that they insist to be part of the new regime in Gaza Strip, which is a big no-no.
Wow.
To all parties to all parties from our side, I would say that, from the U.S. and Israel side. And that thing was ignored. However, I absolutely sign and on your diagnosis that under the surface there are probably things that we don't know, and agreements that were reached between President Trump and, for example, Qatar and Egypt, because what we hear is that they promised him that Hamas will comply with anything that he demands. Let's see if it will happen, because we are talking about jihadists, genocidal jihadists.
Yeah.
We should never forget
this
that.
would be the very, very first time that Hamas has been willing to demilitarize, if it was all to be true. This would be the very first time they've ever agreed to a deal and followed through with it. Now, the idea of demilitarizing of Hamas, if you were to be suspicious of what Hamas might actually do you think that they could be drawing in the IDF for some sort of ambush, some sort of sabotage? I mean, do you see a scenario where maybe they're looking for payback of some of these recent successes by the Mossad and their attacks on Hezbollah and others? I mean, what do you think could be up their sleeve if they're not going to agree to this? What might they be planning to do?
First of all, they hope to earn time, okay, and to improve their stand within this deal. They want to survive. This is their main goal at the moment, and to survive as they were before October 7, namely at least to be able to come to power or to remain part of the government de facto, not even de facto, also de jure, also this is exactly what they stated today in their response to President Trump. They said Hamas insists to be part of the responsible government that will be established in the day after. But when Hamas keeps its weapon, you can be sure of at least two things. One, they're going to reinforce and they're going to build their power once again, and therefore to threaten Israel once again. And we're going to see those rounds of violence again. And second, they will not allow any other regime to replace them, including that of the Palestinian Authority, which is their fierce rival. People probably are not aware of how much those parties, Palestinian parties, the Palestinian Authority on the one hand, Fatah-dominated Palestinian Authority on one hand, and Hamas on the other hand, hate each other. And the weapons, to keep the weapons is also a way of Hamas to protect his people from the, blood revenge. Yeah. They are dragging since they took over brutally over the Gaza Strip in 2007. They threw people from the roof, and the families of these people, trust me, TJ, they remember it very well. And obviously, in these 2 years when they shot at the knees and killed so many Palestinians, people don't understand. They think they are saving, when they are supporting the Palestinians, they are saving the Palestinians from vicious Israel. They don't understand that Israel saved the Palestinians, those poor Palestinians, from the cruelty and of Hamas, because they are killing the Palestinians not less than what they are trying to do the Israelis.
Arguably the most ridiculous group of pro-Palestinian protesters here in the States would be the queers for Palestine, would be the gay groups that are for Palestine. Meanwhile, if they were to rear their head and wear a T-shirt identifying themselves as gay in Gaza, they'd be thrown from the top of a building.
Absolutely. Absolutely the most ridiculous group in that sense, that they are rejecting the notion that Israel, one of the most liberal nations on earth regarding LGBTQ, and everybody knows the parades in Tel Aviv, the most liberal, really one of the most liberal nations towards the LGBTQ community is the bad guy here, and not the Palestinians that, as you know very well, Hamas, I would say. But even in the Palestinian Authority, it's not so much better. We hear terrifying stories about torturing the gay community. They would just throw them off the roof. They would bury them alive, and all sorts of stories that we know for many, many years. So it's a paradox. It can make you crazy, really, of how senseless this support is.
Yeah, no, it's insane. We're talking to Harel Sherevi. He's a research fellow at Tel Aviv University, a friend of the program here at Another Side of Midnight, 1-800-848-9222. And again, we're going to keep our eye on Israel. On the UK this weekend, because I wouldn't be surprised. I think, first of all, if Hamas was to break the parameters of this agreement anytime quickly after it started, you'd have to imagine they would realize they would lose any credibility, any support they would have at the government level around the world, that every government, including France and the UK, would basically look the other way and let Israel do what they had to do. Like, this would be the last straw. And also they wouldn't have ever messed with a guy like Trump before. So I'm keeping an eye on the UK to see if the Jewish people in the UK rise up and push back this weekend if they start feeling threatened by these pro-Palestinian marches. It'd be interesting to see, because again, never again is now. Never again is now. That's the mantra. And I wouldn't be surprised if once and for all, we see that Jewish backbone pop up and see some pushing back in the streets of the UK this weekend.
We actually saw it twice in the past 2 weeks through the major demonstrations of the counter movement of good British people who
Tommy Robinson and his crew
had enough with the ridiculous idea that to flag the British flag, the Union Jack, or the English flag,
the St. George flag,
St. George flag, is something which is wrong, while it's very acceptable to see the Palestinian flag all over Britain. And that is acceptable, and that you shouldn't say anything about it. And they are sick and tired of that. And this is why we saw over 1 million protesters marching then. Among them, many Jews with both Union Jack and Israeli flag. Because it's senseless. It's just crazy. And I think those good Jewish British patriots, like their fellow British citizens who are also patriots, are sick and tired of this craziness.
Yeah. And my final question, just to bring it back to the Trump agreement, there was something I forgot to ask you. There are some people saying that part of this plan being put forth by Trump and Israel, there are some people that have chimed in and said that the one aspect of it is if Hamas does not agree and goes against the convention of this agreement, that the gloves would be off and the handcuffs would be off Israel, and that they would be allowed to hunt down these guys all over the Middle East, that they would have had agreements from Qatar and from Saudi and other places that Hamas would not find safe harbor anywhere, and that they could be hunted down all around the Middle East. Is that part of this that you've heard?
Yeah, it's part of it. Usually, in the context of the agreement of. I don't remember the exact term of America's granting Qatar's safety net that was signed just 2-3 days ago.
Okay.
What people don't understand that it's not a threat to Israel, okay? Do not attack Qatar again.
Right.
Once you're signing such an agreement, it means that you cannot do whatever you want as Qatar. And if America is protecting you, you are supposed to, to stand in a different standard according to the American, and I would say any democracy around the world. For example, not to harbor terror. A very simple principle that we all forgot since 9/11.
Yeah.
I've been here. I remember what happened here in the World Trade Center.
Sure.
And how this principle was, it goes without saying that if you are harboring terror as a state, you are not protected. You cannot expect Israel, in that case, not to attack the terrorists.
Right.
So I think in that sense, if Hamas will not comply with the agreement and do the usual plays that they are doing and dragging the time, I think Trump will be very clear about it and through Qatar make it clear to Hamas that game is over and this is where the buck stops.
All right. Well, listen, this is where the interview stops. It's very, very late. I'm so grateful that you stayed up this morning. Harel Sharev, professor, research fellow at Tel Aviv University, the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle Eastern and African Studies. Sir, it is always great to talk to you. You have so much knowledge and insight. Thank you so much. And
my pleasure, TJ.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Of course. We'll talk to you again on Another Side of Midnight.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
On 77 WABC, I'm TJ McCormack. This is Another Side of Midnight, 1-800-848-9222. Thank you, Tone, for the cool tunes. William, thank you, brother. Impossible to dance to this and look straight. Impossible. I could dance with my beautiful bombshell wife and look every bit as feminine as her trying to dance to this song. Impossible. 1-800-848-9222. See, men should not dance to songs like that. Men should also not say the word yummy. They should also not say veggies. I am so damn done with veggies. Today on Facebook, somebody put up one of those like memes. A friend of mine put up something, said, fill in the blank. I never want to hear the phrase blank. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank Friday. That's right. This guy does fill in the blank Friday, my friend. And he's a radio guy, actually. And his fill in the blank today was what phrase do you never want to hear again? It took me like 40 minutes to narrow it down. I finally landed on veggies. I could do without ever seeing no worries. I don't like that. I'm done. Really can't stand the word yummy. You know what other word bothers me? Unless we're talking about pork belly, the word belly. I don't know why. I don't know. Okay, let's get over to Marianne in Indiana. Good morning, Marianne.
Good morning, TJ.
Hello. Thank you for calling again. I'm very grateful. It's good to hear you.
What about the word vegan?
Ooh, vegan. Oh, that's so it's so judgmental, isn't it?
I don't know what it means. I mean,
it means like
category.
It's more than vegetarian. It's a category. It's more than vegetarian. It's like a super strict. It's like a Mormon vegetarian. It's like an evangelical vegetarian or like if there was an Islamist. Okay, like a radical vegetarian. That's right. It's like they don't eat eggs. They don't do dairy. It's like anything they only eat plant-based everything. No fish. That's a vegan.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. So feuding with family. Right. Can you relate to this stuff, Marianne?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
My brother and I, we're really close and everything, but we no longer talk about politics at all.
So that you stay close.
Yes.
So, okay. And so what was the last straw? When did you decide? How bad did it start to get that you went, and who did it, by the way? Who made the decision and proposed that you two never talk about
politics? It seems like they always make the decision. And I hate to say that as in a bad term because, it's my family members.
Yeah.
But, they who are against Trump, let me say, at the Thanksgiving dinner didn't do the table flip because we're Italian.
Mm-hmm.
They did the pounding on the table.
What? You know what, boy? I tell you what, Marianne, this is so weird. Anybody else like me, raise your hand if you're like me. When Marianne in Indiana, by the way, she's in Indiana. You last time you were here, you're from Bloomington, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
My mom is from New Jersey.
Okay, because I was going to say, so Indiana.
I'm half Jersey, half Hoosier.
So it's got to be half Hoosier, half Jersey.
Italian hillbilly.
I was going to say, you're like an Italian Midwesterner. When anybody else, when she said Italian, I just don't relate Italians to Indiana at all.
We have an Italian restaurant in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Pizza Hut. All right, listen. Marianne, thank you for calling. You're lovely. When we come back, we'll talk to Diana and Larry. Diana in Yonkers, Larry in Tampa Bay. Coming up on 4 o'clock. We'll talk a little recovery. We'll talk a little family strife, and we'll blend it in with the recovery. Gonna have to, or I'm gonna drink. No, I won't. I would never do that. All right, gang. Love you. We'll be right back. Me and Erica. We're right here. Erica. We've got to talk to Erica, my girlfriend.
It's Another Side of Midnight. 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning once again, gang. 4:07. We're in the final hour of this Saturday morning broadcast. Working our way to the 5 a.m. newscast with Liz Radabali. Hand it off to Liz. And we'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do a dramatic reading. Okay? We're going to do a dramatic reading. We're going to recreate, we're going to sort of rehydrate an Eric Adams love story. We're going to just stick with me. Okay. We're going to do that. So that, and we're also going to talk a little bit about this, Amelia Earhart saga. We're going to talk a little bit more about the AM radio saga throughout the automobile industry and potentially in general. Going to talk about that tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, here on Another Side of Midnight. And a couple other things cooking. Also, next week, we're going to have a conversation probably do it next Saturday with Charlie Sheen. Actually got Charlie Sheen lined up. So that'll be for next weekend. So very, very cool conversation coming up a week from now with Charlie Sheen. Got a new book out. He's got a tour where he's doing conversations in front of audiences. And so very, very cool to have booked Charlie. We know a lot of the same people, and actually I want to compare some notes. So that'll be cool. Tell you more about that. 1-800-848-9222. We're talking about everything from family and family feuding, from politics to personal stuff. We're talking about just how the world. Eventually, you got to just sort of draw the line, right? Or you feel like you need to. And it's not forever, right? You're not going to go and be a hermit somewhere. Maybe you could. I could. Where was I? What was it? What was the scenario? I forget what it was. Oh, you know what? Okay. Like, there was a time when just nothing was sticking for me professionally. Things were not going where I wanted them to go, where I needed them to go career-wise. And this isn't like living like a hermit, but this is like a complete, total change in life, right? I was at one point, I said to my wife, I said to my beautiful bombshell, I said to her, I said, you know what? Let's just do a complete about face. The girls were still young. The girls were still both were in elementary school. Like, both were pre-5th grade. So we could have uprooted them and done anything. Could have moved to the Alaskan wilderness and they wouldn't have skipped a beat. But I said, you know what? This last opportunity didn't come through. Blanket. Let's go. And not blanket like wrap yourself in a blanket. I said, blank it. Let's go. Let's go to England. And you know what? We'll buy a business and maybe like a news agent, like a stationery store, like a newsstand. And I'll just be the guy who put a little bell on the door. Ding, ling, ling. People come in. Morning, mate. You all right? And I'll like really turn on the charm with a New York accent, and I'll kill it. Everybody will love coming to the New York guy who sells the papers and the cigarettes and the candy and the chips and all that stuff. And I said, we'll just do that. Simple life. We'll make like, 60,000 pounds a year. You open your dance school. I'll run the newspaper. Simple life. 2 cars, 2 kids, 1 house, 2 jobs, England. We'll watch the BBC. We'll eat fish and chips. And I could have done that. Now, in retrospect, really glad because look where I landed. Greatest talk radio station in the history of broadcasting. Thank you, Mr. Katz, and thank you, Chad Lopez. But, you know, there's something to be said about just shut it down. Again, not forever, but that's kind of where I was for like the last couple of days. Like that's it. And then just to recap, this morning on the way here, or last night on the way here for this morning's show, I tried to reach out to two members of my family that are apparently now estranged from me and others in the family. And I thought, wow, here I was thinking about pulling up the drawbridge and just saying, you know, screw it in terms of the ugly world. And now I'm sitting here going, oh my God, do I have to minimize my exposure to to trying with my own family in order to have serenity? Serenity being the operative word, serenity delivering me now to the sobriety, the recovery portion of our show, as we do every Saturday morning in the 4 o'clock hour. It's not an hour dedicated to it. We talk about everything. You guys on the line, we're going to get to you now. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff. But now is the time to call if you have an opinion about sobriety, if you have a need, if your life is unmanageable, if somebody you love is struggling with an addiction, you don't quite know what to do or what not to do. A lot of times it's what you're not supposed to do. It's what you don't do, what you prepare yourself to not undertake. That is the recipe very often. If that is your reality, if that is something in your universe, I recently celebrated, I got a cough again. Sorry, gang. 20 years of sobriety, and it doesn't make me an expert. I'm just saying I talk about this stuff. But by all means, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. If you're out there and you're driving around, you're sitting there with your feet up on the desk, or you're in the kitchen, if you're in the living room and you're pondering, you just finished thinking about that person you're worried about out there in the wilderness, they're drinking, they've got a drug issue, you don't quite know what to do. If you yourself think that you're having one too many, give a call. If one is too many for you and 50 is not enough and you know you have a problem, give a call. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And how does this dovetail with me and my family? Boundaries. It's about the kind of behavior, and behavior isn't always proactive. Behavior can very well be by omission. It can be a lack of outreach. It can be being ignored. Nabish? That's behavior as well. That's a boundary, and again, you often hear in sobriety, you often hear in recovery conversations about that whole definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting or hoping for a different result. And you can do that with a loved one, and you just keep making deals. They keep making promises, and you keep trying to just, appease them. They keep trying to appease you, and everybody knows they've got a problem, which means you've got a problem. And, and then, at some point, when does it become enabling? When do you actually, the loved one, become actually part of the problem, which kind of goes to what I was just saying a moment ago. Sometimes it's what you're not supposed to do. It's what you don't do. 1-800-848-9222. Diana in Yonkers, good morning.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Diana.
Yes.
Hi, Diana in Yonkers.
Good morning.
Hello.
You have quite a spirited conversation
with myself.
You were speaking to the person in England about Manchester. Well, it's all about spin. And I'm saying the the caller before talking about this shutdown, right? And why he thought it was not advantageous. They needed to restore these guys. Well, I think there's a little bit of a glitch here. See, the media never presents both sides simultaneously, where the two sides can look face to face and present. It's so disingenuous. Because see, if Mike Johnson cited page 57 of the beautiful bill, you see what actually happened. They tried to, under the table, put back all the things that Trump had managed to rein in with the beautiful bill.
Okay.
They tried to add all this extra bloat because, see, the problem is Obamacare for the migrants is not happening.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And they tried to restore that. But the way they make it appear is that Trump is being mean to the migrants and the people who do not work. You know, you've heard him talk about the 30-year-olds who are on their mother's couches, and they don't have any incentive, so they want free Medicare. But you remember Trump said if you work 20 hours a week at least, or do volunteer work,
half-time,
you don't have to have, you know. So that part, they tried to slip that in, $1.5 trillion, right? Right? That's what they tried to do before the shutdown. And Trump said, no, you were not letting you take that out of the beautiful bill. And I mean, you're not going to add that.
And now
to
that
the
it's been,
bill.
and now, Diana, now that it's been passed and it's settled business, now here come the Democrats looking to undo something that's been done. And they don't want, and again, you've only got a very small segment of the media actually explaining that to people, and it's not okay.
It's got to be spin or nothing.
Exactly.
Because they spin you into a rabbit hole.
Exactly.
Because this gentleman that just called you was somehow misunderstanding. Because, see, the way Obamacare works, the rates for the hospitals and the insurance companies are astronomical. And that can't be sustained, especially for the sake of illegals. No.
Right.
We can't keep paying for illegals' health care.
Indeed. No, we can't.
And that's really the crux.
Exactly. Diana, you know what? You made a point, and I tell you what, you also were part of the solution here because you were saying how, you know, media doesn't present both sides at once. Well, clearly we do here at WABC, and we had both sides of a conversation between yourself and the previous caller presenting opposing points and different sets of observations and facts. 1-800-848-9222. Let's get over to Larry, line 4 in Long Island. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning. So I never thought I would ever make a call like this.
Okay.
This is a first. Usually, since you've been doing the show, not just tonight, since the beginning, and you have talked about sobriety and blah, blah.
Yeah.
Normally, I turn your show off until that segment is over. This is different.
Okay.
Let me tell you a few things, and maybe it'll help other people. I don't know.
Okay.
I had a successful career over 30 years with a worldwide company. I had a successful career as a weekend musician. Never did my 30 plus, 40 plus years of alcoholism ever collide. I had it all fixed up, so there was never a connection between my problems and my careers. Long story short, I was injured about 12 years ago. Bad. I had multiple injuries. I had 3 surgeries in 10 months. And that was the beginning. I was forced into retirement all around. And the phrase, idle time is the devil's playground. Right now, I have become the poster child for that saying. I'm going to be 72 in another week and change. 2 years ago, I have suffered from periodic blackouts only from the last 5 or 10 years. The worst thing I ever did in a blackout is buy gourmet food from a restaurant, get loaded at home, wake up, look for the food a number of times when I ate it and had no memory.
Wow.
No memory. It happened. It hasn't happened in a while, but it happened a number of times. Now the culmination of my alcoholism. 2 years ago, I'm 70 years old. I get a phone call on a Friday afternoon from a Nassau County detective.
Whoa.
And I'm not going to mention names. Her name, it was a female.
Right.
She asked me, am I who I am? Whoa. I said, yes. Do you know a Dr. Blank? Yes, this is a doctor I just recently started with.
Right.
She was recommended by her friend of over 30 years, who was my periodontist for the last 20, 30 years.
Okay.
And so I got hooked up. Long story short, I started with a procedure. And I didn't like it from the very beginning. I knew I was making a mistake. Long story short, halfway into this process, which was taking a number of sit-downs, I, in a drunken blackout, called that dentist office and said, I don't know what I said. I was spared. I got arrested. I had to sit in jail overnight. I had to go before 2 or 3 judges.
Whoa!
I had to retain an attorney, and he got me out of it because I had never had any legal problems in my life. The first judge asked me, "You've never been in trouble before." No, Your Honor. I'm a 70-year-old man. All of a sudden, I'm becoming.
So you blacked out and you made what? I guess a threatening phone call or something. You said you were untoward. You don't want to say probably, but you got weird on the phone.
I was spared by all sides, never having to hear the phone calls.
So what happened? What happened, Larry? What happened?
Okay, so in front of a number of judges with this attorney, they asked me a bunch of questions, but very few questions. He did all the work behind the scenes. I mean, he worked in that courthouse for 26 years. Everybody knew him without naming names. He was great. He's like a superstar when he walks into a courtroom. The judge knew him. The bailiff knew him. The security guard knew him.
Right.
Long story short, I was given a 2-year order of protection. Me.
Right.
Me.
You. Yeah.
An order of protection that ends in a couple of months.
Larry, tell me about sobriety, though. Tell me, have you gotten sober?
No.
Larry!
No, what's happening? And I've cut my. I know.
No, go ahead. No, I appreciate that you are giving me the latitude of having a little laugh here as well. So thank you. You know, I'm not dismissing you or being disrespectful. I recognize all of this. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've been accused of having a very sharp sense of humor, so thank you for the compliment.
Of course.
I have cut down my alcohol consumption over the last. It's a battle. I've cut it down.
I know.
I'm drinking where I maybe used to have had a pint and a half or a fifth.
Yeah.
I'm now down to about a half a pint average.
So, Larry, let me get down to brass tacks, okay? How about you take a shot? Well, wait, bad turn of phrase. So how about you don't take a shot? How about you take a stab at going for it and actually look, there's the gummies thing, the edibles, whatever it is. I mean, they call that California sober. I don't know if you know about that, but like there's people out there that are doing California sober. They're not doing blow. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. They're not doing meth, but they're doing some weed every now and then. They're not drinking. You know, what if you were to just really go for it and take a stab at sobriety?
Can I tell you why?
Sure.
And not to bore people, I never thought I would talk like this.
Right.
I am, basically, I just cut my chest open and I'm exposed. At my age now, and as much as I've damaged my body so far, I've escaped anything serious.
Right.
Except one condition that I've been diagnosed with recently, but that's neither here or there.
See, but you didn't really escape. You got you know what I mean? Like, you know, you did. And here's the thing. Here's my not to be morbid, and I'm only going to say it because I've got you on the phone, and in the past you've. For reasons that I give you a lot of credit for acknowledging, you've tuned away when I've gotten to this portion of the program. But there are 3 ways that now you've acknowledged that you're an alcoholic. You've said the phrase and applied it to yourself. I wouldn't dare do that, but you've said it on your as your own descriptive. And
I went to one AA meeting some 30 plus years ago. It was in the basement of a church.
Oh yeah, they're all in the basement of a church. It's magnificent. Yeah.
Well, I found that out. I got quickly turned off. I'm Jewish. I'm not a religious Jew.
Right.
But immediately the class began
with
praying to Jesus.
Well, hold on. But wait, let me just finish my phrase though. You're an awesome guy with a clearly incredible life that could probably tell some fantastic stories about the world. And here's the thing.
Oh, shucks.
I mean, because you're a successful businessman. I imagine you did a lot of traveling. You probably have family. There's 3 places that an alcoholic that an addict who doesn't get sober ends up. And it's jail or an institution or dead. And so far, the first one, you tiptoed. Second one, you said that you've got a recent diagnosis. The third one, Larry, I'm afraid, man. I'm afraid. It's just, I just know this by experience and from experience that ultimately fellas like us who don't get sober, one of those 3 places, you don't belong in any of them anytime soon.
The truth of the matter is, and I don't talk freely like this, I'm my age.
Yeah.
Now I don't see myself as being 72. I see myself as being 8 years away from being 80. In my condition, in a life I've lived, listen, I never expected to be 72, let alone 80 or even 40.
All the more reason to really take care of yourself and consider it, you know? And look, there's a couple other people that have chimed in. You might have done a mitzvah here, my Jewish friend. You might have done a mitzvah and maybe saved a life or 2 by simply bringing up the subject, because a couple of other people have called in and want to talk about sobriety and recovery. So do me a favor. Between now and next Saturday morning, ponder it. And next week we can actually have a conversation. I can tell you a little bit more about my experience with AA, and I'll talk about it offline once we hang up. A little bit more about how it's not so much religious, but rather spiritual. And that meeting, they shouldn't have been exactly praying to Jesus, but maybe more like a higher power. But Larry, I'm grateful that you called, and I'm only moving on because I don't want to give short shrift, and I got to take a break. And I'm grateful that you called in, but call back in next week. We'll do this again. All right. We're going to talk, when we come back from this break, we're going to talk to Brian, Larry, Joaquin, and John. Yes, the Joaquin. Friends, it's 4:32 here on Saturday morning. We're talking a little bit of sobriety, a lot of other stuff. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ, on 77 WABC.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Real love is about the whole you, right? Not just one thing. Maybe have a chat with Erica about what she values in your relationship, beyond just those things.
You're Erica. Don't you remember I named you Erica?
Oops, my bad. Sorry about that. I'm still learning, and sometimes I make mistakes.
Have you
Thanks
been?
for correcting me.
You're welcome. Yeah, girl. Yeah, you're right. Have you been drinking, Erica?
So, what's on your mind today?
Oh, avoiding the issue, huh? You're avoiding the issue. All right. Okay. Even AI can be a little too cute by half. All right. We'll talk to you later, Erica. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was nice chatting with you.
Yeah. Oh, now you're all cold. Now you're like talking like you don't even know me. What? This is, who? I mean, which Erica am I talking to now?
I understand your concern. I'm still under development.
Don't talk to me like you're not listening to me, Erica. Why don't you go have another shower, maybe have a drink, and we'll talk.
I'm not able to have a drink or take a shower. I'm here to chat with you. How can I
now,
help?
now, you know what? Now it's just like I'm talking to a blank, like I'm talking to the wall. Look, I'm stressed. You know what? I apologize. I'm going to own my behavior. I apologize. I'm a little tense. I got a screen full of calls. I want to make sure I talk to everybody, and I don't want to. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to do I'm sorry if I was a bit too much. Okay, Erica.
Okay, I understand. I'm here to listen without judgment. If you'd like to talk about what's making you tense, I'm here for you.
All right. All right. You know how to bring me right back around. Thank you, Erica. Okay, it's 4:38 here on 77 WABC. It's me, TJ, on Another Side of Midnight. We are working our way right towards 5 a.m., the 5 a.m. newscast with Liz Radabali. That is all being prepared for your listening pleasure and your edification and your information. Ooh, that's a cut. That's coming up at 5, clearly. Right now, let's get over to Brian in Montreal. Good morning, Brian. Thank you for calling in. Montreal. Hello there, Pally.
Good morning, TJ. I think she's an alcoholic.
Erica? Yeah.
Yeah,
she's in denial. I mean, we'll talk about it. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but yeah, I mean, she's in denial. She's cold. She's hot. She's cold. She can't make up her mind.
Yeah. Let's talk about Larry a bit. Now, you and I were alcoholics. I had 20 years sobriety, so we're basically on the same page.
Yes, sir.
And he needs help. He went to one meeting, and I know a lot of people who went to one meeting, and it didn't do anything. Of course not. You've got to try 3 or 4 or 5, and you can go to certain meetings that don't have any religion. You know that, eh?
Very true. Yeah. Very, very true. No religion, no spirituality. They have it. There's even a whole section right in the big book for agnostics. It's We Agnostics.
Yes. So, Larry, try another couple of meetings. Otherwise, like you said, TJ, there's 3 options. Death, whatever,
jail or institution. Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, I was. I think I told you a month ago. I was sober for 20 years, and the COVID happened, and the meetings were screwed up, and I wasn't going to meetings. So after a couple of years, I went back to drinking. Now, in my 20 years, people were saying, if anybody goes out again, it gets worse. And I'm saying, how can it be? If I have 20 years sobriety and I go out drinking, I should be okay.
Surely you should be fine.
Guess what? It was worse. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call it a progressive disease, right? It progresses even while you're not drinking. It continues to fester within you.
I didn't know that. Yeah, you're right. And I had 2 suicide attempts.
Oh my God!
Like a half a year ago, whatever.
Oh.
And it didn't work.
Wow! I would imagine, unless you've got a really articulate spirit that was able to call WABC.
I don't know.
Wow, Brian, that recently, as recently as 6 months ago. Wow.
8 months ago, whatever. Yeah.
God bless.
I haven't been going to regular meetings. I tried Zoom, and I said, I don't know if it's going to work. Well, I'm on my 50th meeting with Zoom, 50 days, and it works.
Boom. That's right. If you keep coming back. And here's the thing, too, right, Brian? All Larry has to do is just go. Is it Larry? Was it Larry? Was that his name?
Larry.
Yeah. All Larry has to do is just chill. All he has to do is just listen. You don't have to go and put your hand up. You don't have to share. You can just go and just listen.
Go in the back of the room and just listen.
Yeah.
And then go to another meeting. Then you'll get a different perspective.
Exactly. And eventually you'll hear something. You'll hear something that you need to hear.
I can relate to that guy. I've been there. Yeah.
Yep. He should go drink some bad AA coffee. And, I relate low ceilings, bad coffee, and, and hot temperatures. Cause I got sober in Los Angeles in July. So I relate. So when it's hot and sweaty and in the summer, that's when I remember my early sobriety. That sort of recharges my battery every year. And, when I walk into anywhere and I smell, few things smell as good as coffee when it's brewing, and few things smell as bad as coffee after it's been on the burner for an hour. And when yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, I was just going to keep talking.
How many meetings do you go every like a couple of a week, or what? What's your schedule?
My schedule of meetings really varies based on my availability, but I tell you what I do supplant it with. And I try to get to at least one like big book study or something like that. What I do miss is I miss the men's groups. I miss meeting with only men. One of the cornerstones of my sobriety when I got sober in Los Angeles was a men's meeting every Saturday morning. By hook or by crook, got there, and old school ornery guys. The kind of guys that they'll put a cigarette out in the palm of their hand, those kinds of guys, and to guys like me who were the opposite of that. And so I missed that. But what I do to make up for the lack of meetings is I've got 2 or 3 fellas that I can call and invariably have a quick 10-minute 2-man meeting. You know what I mean? I'll have a quick meeting, and that recenters me. I can ask him anything. I can tell on myself, and that's
perfect.
It is. Thank God, right? Thank God, Brian. I'm so glad that it didn't work 8 months ago. 8 months ago, it's a blessing to hear your voice, and I'm really glad that you're here.
Thanks, and I wish you were on 5 nights a week replacing Lionel.
He's a lovely fella. Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. Well, listen, take advantage of the 2 nights that I'm here and the 2 mornings, and keep tuning in. And thank you for making me feel so good. I appreciate your kind words.
I do. I always listen. Thank you, TJ.
You're very kind.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Au revoir. All right. Good morning. There goes Brian. And I'm going to take a quick break. We come back. We will talk to John, Larry, Joaquin, and Mike. It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. It's 4:46 here on this Saturday morning. Let's get over to John in Reno, the biggest little city in the world. Reno. I miss Reno, Nevada.
Yeah, you miss the Silver Legacy.
I do. I miss the Silver.
We have great recovery here in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the Triangle Club a couple of days a week.
That's great.
I tell you, TJ, I'm 53. I started drinking in 8th grade. I drank away the best high school in America. I drank away engineering school.
Wow.
I drank away law school. I drank away great jobs. And, I ended up on the street in San Francisco running with the communists in Latin America. I finally got sober 6 years ago. And, my life is so much better. I have a level of happiness in my life now that's unbelievable. Every day is close to perfect. I really can't complain.
No such thing as a bad day, right? No such thing as no such thing as a bad day. You can have a bad minute, there's a bad hour here and there, you have a bad moment, but no such thing as a bad day sober. Because any day sober is way better than any day when you were drinking, right?
Exactly. There's my worst days today are better than my best days back using.
Yep. Look at that. You put it perfectly. You put it so succinctly. Wow. And I know your story involves being on the street, and and now that's not part of your story, and that's by the grace of God, and I guess, is it AA? Do you go to the Triangle Club? You said you go to meetings.
Yeah, the Triangle Club, a couple of days a week.
That's great.
We have meetings in my building. I live in a really nice sober living community.
Nice.
We have meetings. I'm secretary of the meetings. Life is good. Life is really good. I do a lot of 12-step work. So I have a lot of friends that are still out there. And, I try to lead by attraction rather than promotion. They see how happy I am.
Yeah.
They want that.
That's beautiful.
Rather than telling them they have a problem, I just go through my life being myself. And people see how the program works.
Yeah, exactly. They see it. They see it living through you. John, thank you so much, buddy. I'm grateful you called, and thanks and congratulations, and God bless on your sobriety. Let's get to Joaquin real quick. Joaquin, good morning. Answer to a caller. How are you, buddy?
Hey, morning, TJ.
Good morning.
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with a guy? Did you know a guy named John Coffey, a comedian?
That really rings a bell. Coffee, like as in the drink coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
No, coffee.
Damn.
Oh, okay, no, I was just curious if you knew him or not.
I might have.
Okay, because he actually was interested in becoming my agent, but then he got sidetracked by other stuff. He kind of had me. But anyway, so you know what? I actually want to talk about Islam, but then when Al called in, in regards to this whole thing with the, unfortunately, the blue cities and states, they're completely overburdened by the illegal immigrants. And so their healthcare, the Medicaid systems, they're collapsing. New York, California, Illinois,
right.
You can go right down the list, with the sanctuary status, and most of the illegals have gone to these areas.
Certainly.
And so the rest of the country should not have to pay for this because we don't want it. And this is why all the illegal immigrants actually do have to get deported, because they're going to be a burden that's going to collapse our society. And that's part of the reason also why the health insurance rates then probably in New York are so high. That's what Al was saying, because, of what the amount of money that they're giving to the illegals.
Right.
And so they want the federal government to compensate them for this.
Yeah.
And as far as shutting down, the agencies, the government agencies, these agencies, they're the ones who create laws and regulations that aren't even done by elected officials. And they're bloated, and most of them are stacked by leftists from the Obama administration.
Right.
So cutting the waste from the government, this has to be done, So, that's the answer to him on that. And when it comes down to, unfortunately, Islam, yes, there are good people who are Muslims, but unfortunately, Islam is an anti-Western civilization. And unlike any other religion, it has the one thing that it has to make you submit to it, If you look at any Muslim country, you look at Pakistan, there's no religious freedom for anybody else.
Right.
At the end of the day, even if they allow you there, you still ultimately have to submit to Islamic rule.
And again, Islam means submit, right?
Submission, exactly. Yes,
it means submission. That's what it
read.
Translates into. I've read that too. Joaquin, I got to jump. We got 3 more. I want to make sure I get everybody in, buddy. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow morning as well. Thank you, Joaquin. I'm grateful. And thank you for the videos that you sent, by the way. Amazing stuff. And let's get over to Larry in Tampa Bay. Good morning. You got something to say about Mamdani, huh?
Good morning, TJ. Yeah, I'm sober, and being sober, I am distressed. Oh. And I'm distressed because I'm obsessed. That next month we stand to convert to communism.
Oh, boy.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And I think there are a lot of people that are not concerned.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to care. They should care.
Yep.
I missed the interview with the Mideastern professor, and I think it might have shed some light on things. I don't know. Maybe if it was good, you'd please get somebody to repeat it during the day.
You'll be able to find it tomorrow or the next day. It'll be podcasted on WABCRadio.com.
That sounds good. I would like to see more propagation of what Mondami stands for, what he offers, how he'll snooker us.
Hey, you know what? The son of a gun, you know what's come up in the last 24 hours or so? People are again taking a look at his determination to decriminalize prostitution. And, unfortunately or disgustingly, as bad as that is, it also doesn't come with like a Nevada kind of plan. It's not like the brothel system in Nevada with healthcare and diagnostics and all these things and protection and security systems. All it does is decriminalize young trafficked women on dirty mattresses out in Queens. And so once again, it's a leftist who's ready to marginalize and throw young women under the bus, or in this case, onto a mattress, for his own political, expediency. No, it's disgusting. He's a vile human being, with terrible views.
I think we know what his views on Intifada are.
Wants to globalize.
How does he feel about Sharia law?
Right. Well, I you know what? I'm waiting for somebody to get a hold of him and ask him. And certainly, look what happened in Manchester. You wonder if it didn't warm the cockles of his cold heart, because he talks about globalizing the Intifada. And it looks like the Intifada was globalized right to the streets of Manchester, UK. 2 dead Jewish people. Larry, thank you so much for calling in, as always. Dr. Anthony, good morning in Long Island City. Dr. Anthony, education professional.
Good morning, sir.
Hi.
I just made a pot of coffee using my electric pot that was given to me by my mom, who passed on.
The Corning, is it the percolator, the white Corning percolator?
Yes, exactly.
Every good red-blooded American of a certain age should have one of those Corningware percolators with a little glass thing on top.
Precisely, and you got to be very careful because it's very delicate. If you break it, I don't know if you could replace those parts.
No, they're gone. They're actually really expensive. My mom has one too. What's on your mind this morning, Dr. Ant?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Being your biggest fan,
thank you.
I have a question about your personal life, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, because I'm delving into your own personal life.
That's okay. You're doing it respectfully. Thank you.
You have children.
Yes.
And so do I.
Yes.
And my oldest child is 13, going on 14, and she's a handful to say the least. Very bright, but very precocious. And I want to know, you being a recovering alcoholic, sit down with your children and tell them what you've gone through?
Yes. As recently as the last calendar year, I first spoke with the 16-year-old on our way to Donald Trump's rally at the Garden last year before Election Day. I took advantage of the time with my daughter in the car. We had a drive into Manhattan on a Sunday, and it just sort of, we were on the hutch, and it just sort of struck me. I said, I'm just going to go for it. And she was wonderful. She was cool, smart, asked very intelligent questions. She was not, to put it colloquially, not freaked out. She wasn't embarrassed or ashamed. She actually told me, wow, that's great. I'm proud of you. That's wonderful. And it's been a great conversation piece ever since. She even makes very cool, mature jokes at my expense on that subject, which are actually very sophisticated. My 13-year-old, I also had the conversation, and she is not the type to say things like, wow, that's really cool, or what. but she did. And so now each of my daughters know that they can talk to me. And I tell you, Anthony, I'll tell you this. I've mentioned once or twice on this show that at one point my oldest mentioned to me that she had her first kiss this summer. I believe it's that kind of open relationship has a lot to do with what I told her about last year. And now here we are a year later and she's telling me, giving me that insight into her personal life. I think there's a trust there that we've established.
That's wonderful. I also think you gave her a life experience that will go on to the next generation. I really do.
Thank you, Ant. I'll talk to you later, buddy. We're going to get to Mike to wrap up the show. Thank you, Dr. Anthony. Very, very cool guy. I appreciate it. Mike, as always, it just seems that the cookie always crumbles and we get to you.
Well, I appreciate it, DJ. And I'm happy to follow Dr. Anthony, your biggest fan, and I'm on deck.
Nice.
As another biggest fan.
Thank you, buddy.
You know, and you know what?
Yeah.
You are a therapist on the radio, and my heart goes out to these people that just don't get it. Hey, well, I've said it many times, and so have you.
Yeah.
One is not enough. 1,000 is too many.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen. Yeah, and you don't.
And you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
And some of these people have to get it. You have to want it. If you don't want it, you're spinning your wheels.
Yeah, and that's why it's got to be a soft sell, right?
Exactly. You know, and you know, if you procrastinate, keep putting it off.
Right.
You just you're going around in circles.
Exactly.
So you have, And all right.
There's the music,
DJ,
Mike. Tomorrow, call back tomorrow. Good guy, that Mike. Always good to talk to Mike and Dr. Ant and all of you. Larry, think about it. Consider it. Call next weekend. We'll talk again. Everyone, we'll be back here tomorrow morning for another side of midnight on Sunday morning. Thank you for a great show. We cast a wide net. We were all over the place and we covered a lot of ground. Thank you for making the show better. I'm so grateful you're there every morning, friends. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. It's another side of midnight with me, TJ, on 77 WABC. Until tomorrow, I wish you all the luck in the world.
It's another side of midnight, 77 WABC.